You rocking with your boys are all rights reserved. We're about to get into this once again. I want to give a shout out to my contributors. One of the contributors, Corrine Morgan, to the GoFundMe. I also want to give a shout out to my Cash App donators. If you guys are normal viewers and have not donated yet, hit that Cash App $, capital THE, capital CZARR. Support the channel growth. I have a lot coming to you in forms of content involving documents. There also will be a Patreon building up where I'll reach out to not only provide detailed documentation, theory, but thoughts regarding the case of Tentacion. And it will be in a manner that supplements a lot of answers to questions on the basis of what I've received. I want to thank all of the contributors and commenters that reach out and help with the channel growth. Continue to hit the GoFundMe as well as the Cash App that I have available and support the channel. Show love to the different content I bring. I have more I want to bring and talk about, and it may be behind the scenes to give to the loyal viewers and different people who may have specifics that need to be answered. We're just going to step into it. The first commenter question that's up is Miss Mac with an MZ and then Mac MAC. You spoke about Tentacion going straight to the morgue. Now, there's many different perspectives that could be taken. One of the first perspectives is that we don't know the passenger yet, so we don't even know the relation as far as who was actually in the car other than when he pulled up to the bank via Miami Herald. So that's how that question was answered. I also have received photos that have questionable individuals. There's 3 individuals I do not understand, and I don't know exactly who they are. I'm kind of confused on who they are, and I'd like to figure out exactly who they are. Their names were not given, and they were allowed to proceed through the tape, basically, and it wasn't taped off, the invisible tape, and speak to different investigators, and they looked to be familiar with Tentacion. They were also reaching in the car. It wasn't investigators in the car while investigators were there. So I'm a little confused to the crime scene and how they were allowed to enter through the gates and actually interact with the car and different people without the rightful, let's say, authoritative presence. So that kind of has me a little confused. I need to find names. Actually, one of them looked familiar to names I've named before, but their pictures were very interesting, and they were seeming to be familiar with him, but not of the instance. Also, I have questions regarding around interrogation of Riva Motorsports and why they shut down right after, and did investigators enter the facility right after the alleged crime went down? That's very confusing as well. I also have 2 more issues that I want to get into, not only involving why Diedrich is now looking for a private investigator, which is inquisitive, being that there was initial investigation, and what him from a suspect standpoint would need a private investigator for. That's very inquisitive as well, and he's looking for the funds to do so, which confuses me when you're being accused of such a heinous act, but that may lead us to more questions. Now, the next thing I said that is very inquisitive is regarding why there was just a mortician on top of that. So this guy was killed, and that's all, but there was no doctor listed. That makes no sense. But if anybody knows anything about the state of Florida, what you need to understand, shout to the peaceful attorney in helping me to learn these things, is that death certificates are privatized. So the real death certificate would never be able to be released, not even to family, unless there were certain criteria that were met. So there's certain requirements around receiving this type of information. That's the thing people need to understand. So it's not just that simple and dry as far as just releasing it. These things just get released only during certain instances, so they can deny on the death certificate. But as far as denying the father, I have yet to find instances where they could deny a blood father the rights to see an autopsy or a toxicology. And that would lead to whether he actually did go to the morgue, because what we don't understand is if this testing was done. So here's my problem with that. This type of testing needs to be done immediately regarding the different details around the situation, because of the expiration of different chemicals that could be in the blood. And that's something why I would say we need to also regard investigator mistakes, because all of this funds and adds into the situation. Another thing we need to go and look at And I don't know if this was brought up or yet. Who were all the individuals that showed up first on the scene? They haven't been named by name, but from my understanding, the very first witness we have given a testimony and uploading to social media has been presented as someone who is part closely being investigated to the case. He has been identified, but no name has been released. I had the alleged name Victor. That may be true, that may be not, but I don't know anything regarding that type of credible evidence. There's also another instance dealing with another individual that may be linked close to the case that they're looking to find information from to gain some type of understanding of everything regarding the situation. I mean, this is all a very important instance dealing with solving this case correctly, being that one of the suspects are now asking for a private investigator. That is the most troubling part. But then again, we could just be dealing with a situation where he feels evidence was too lax. If anybody would do it, I would think Michael Boatwright would be an investigator. Wow. All right, yo. People just be messing with me. A private investigator would be hired, would be to assist in the investigator part because they don't have the details they needed. As we discussed briefly, there should have been an investigation done in many different spots before they went to their outside resources, i.e. the feds, to find these men. They did not do them, and now we see them bragging about the fact they had done it, which shows a lack of, let's say, skill, a lack of preparation, a lack of understanding to, let's say, an occupation. The fact these individuals acted in that manner to do their investigations. I also have details. They called in a long-time retired individual who still could not help them come up with the evidence they needed to do, which shows how badly they did the investigation in the first place. You see, this gives us very strong detail to why forensics was not involved. You see, your forensics person would have been very, let's say, meticulous in looking at the information, the spatter, and how different things happen, that we'd also have a clear picture of how it actually went down from the jump. That is part of my reason. These guys, the way everything unfolded, we didn't see how everything went down from the jump. Still, it's unsure to investigators when you're supposed to put many theories together to help us get a clear view, even if you don't give us the theory that makes the most sense at first. But there's no theory. There's a lot of speculation. There's not even a declaration on who's involved with the morgue. And I have the mortician's exact name, and I did some research, but my thing is I also need a doctor's name and research to see how credible they actually are. There's no doctor's name listed. So the question of hers actually is, did they really end up in the hospital? Which is very inquisitive to me. I have no proof he ended up in the hospital, even though it was 3 to 6 blocks away, and that's approximately. It could either be exact or in between there, but 3 to 6 blocks away, and the ambulance gets there late. That's confusing to me. Also, as far as an investigation and interrogation goes, there were key witnesses. I repeat, there were key witnesses that were not investigated. Now, I could go through a list of names again. I might list it on a privatized channel, but looking at the photos of the investigators, I do have exact names of the investigators that were doing it. I even have their career and how well they did their job. So that's another thing I can do. Listen, there's many angles I can hit this case at. That's why I hit that Cash App, show respect, and then I could get into the details on what investigators messed up doing, why they didn't do it, in my opinion, and what the implications for their choices are. And yes, the implications are well known that these suspects could walk on a vicious murder of a superstar because they did so many things wrong in this scenario. You see, my documents and all of my information links directly to this case in various ways to even produce a strong theory. That is why I need the support before I deliver it. There are a lot of viewers that we're starting to get, and they cannot view and not be part of Commenter Nation. Commenter Nation is the future. We are the future of how things will go. So I need your interaction to be futuristic, and I need your support to help grow the channel. That is to everyone. Every little bit helps. I don't care about what's going around. I don't care about who watches in secret, who doesn't. I make this happen, and I do this for real. I got the documents and everything. So I need that support to show that level so that I'm able to deliver that level of content to match the level of preparation that I have in this situation. Another thing we're going to be getting into as we go forward is my thoughts on Tekashi 6ix9ine's robbery. That will also be a privatized thing that I do. I have my mental thoughts on what actually went down and what's going on with Tekashi. Now, I freely gave him information even he can learn from on how to further his career or refine it, his mistakes, things he could do better, things he can make, let's say, make sense again in his career. And facing this judge, he has till October 2nd, allegedly. So what I'm saying is you need to make a huge change in between now and then, because there's many different details that are not adding up. There's many different factors that are not looking good. So I need you guys to, let's say, work in correlation to the situation and help to provide some type of understanding and viewpoint to what's actually going around with the situation, as well as the individuals surrounding it. I also have individuals surrounding the situation that I could go through and name by name express to you their past and how they fit well into this situation, including people that were not named yet. I think investigators were hasty. They were too hasty because they did not give the support to questioning certain people I have that fit the situation very well. Now, I have not named these individuals because I've been doing research behind the scenes on not only their past, but different criminal activity they've been involved with during the time, even ones that, let's say, may not ever be understood. So I have a lot that I'm trying to deliver to my viewers and a lot of support on the side with key individuals that are going to help me develop my understanding of the situation. So rock with your boy, Miss Mac. Hit that Cash App. Hit that Cash App. You already know what it is. Capital THE, capital CZARR, $ in the front, representing Cash App. And show some love to your boy as I do these different investigations. We're still running on commenter questions. I have the next commenter up next. I'm choosing out of a random hat between a couple subjects. I might make it flow with this. It might be something else. But rock with your boy. You know how I rock. All rights reserved.